Hey, Andy. How are you? Doing good. It's very nice to see you. Just told you work at the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's right.
Andy is a talented writer. I am going to do 15 to 18 minutes upon Matt's recommendation. I'm just going to dive into it. Mayday, also known as the Ballad of Richard Houston. Walking back from superstition, you don't know you could be that way. Beneff's library's got you christened the ace of calling spades a spade. So you change your name to your position. You're making all your tassels sway. Forward psychic nepotism, but you don't gotta be that way. Because I love to hear you speak, because I dig the things you say. And you're gonna wear that crown all over town like you're the king of May. Did you know what I've been thinking brought me close to hear you say that I need people disagreeing so I don't get stuck in waves? Because lately I've been slipping deeper towards insanity. So low that I'm building buildings. This is what entangles me. But I love to hear you speak because I dig the things you say, and you're gonna wear that crown all over town like you're the king of May. The king of May. Them is us when we're picking lemons made of lemonade. Interested in easy living so intensely that you say it's nothing really esoteric. And you know I just self-educate. Because magic that comes from magicians, well, it isn't magic anyway. But I love to hear you speak because you've been dealt the fate to say that you're going to take that crown and melt it down as a ghost of yesterday. So I just dove in on that.
I like it.
Thank you. And then we're going to get in some of this hot Matt talk. So, Matt got me real excited. Matt, Mr. Excitement, Free Poetry Library, Johansson, is what they call him on the circuit. Yeah. How do I say your last name? Johnson. That was intentional. I'm not uncomfortable. Anyway. So when I was pitched reading at this event, I became excited by a little quote from Matt in his email. One that I hope, this is about the event, one that I hope enacts the proximity and overlap between the lyric as utilized/enacted in music and the lyric as it pertains to page to the poetic I in written form. Quote of Matt Johansson Johnson over here. So, I think about this I, Matt's poetic I, for the sake of this performance, a lot. And obviously, nothing gets me quite excited like Matt's poetic I. But I have to keep this around 15 to 18 minutes short. So, first off, let me establish before I go into this, because we're in Nashville, Tennessee, that I do not think the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or 2000s are better than now, and that 2002 was 17 years ago. Because there's a lot going on in song between She Loves You and She Hates Me. The former is a Beatles single from 1963, and the latter is a Puddle of Mud single from 2002. All of y'all are old enough for the most part to know what I'm talking about. So when I was growing up, at home, I heard Beatles, Queen, Fleetwood Mac, etc. But I heard a lot more Puddle of Mud than Beatles in public. I'd be at Sonic ordering some tater tots, and then I'd hear She Fucking Hates Me, like, screaming at me. And so I'd be confused about, the what, where, and why of that narrative's point of entry. And so then I just sit there, sort of with the absurdity of how my surroundings and that narrative were just clashing and clanging against each other. And then 3, what assumptions I would have to concede to in order to occupy that character, which didn't seem like some kind of rigorous exercise in empathy, but it was more like a strange ritual or math equation like big feeling plus big feeling equals meaning. I understand this meaning and you don't. Which read more like, it to me, that whole epic of narrative style is self-consciousness plus self-involvement masquerades as self-awareness. And really, to me, it all added up to, in that moment, and that reoccurring moment at Kroger, at Walgreens, in the car, in traffic, what is going on with this guy, and why is he allowed to yell this at the sauna? There are babies and old people in here. Is this helping selling burgers? Is this helping selling groceries? Or is this in itself another parallel kind of fast food adjacent? 17 years later on, I lean towards yes. The mythologies I'd have to entertain, the ideological scenery I'd have to occupy, the rituals I'd have to perform, the motions I'd have to go through, the neural pathways I'd have to reinforce, and the power relations that I'd have to concede to or perpetuate in order to empathize with, let alone occupy, this power fantasy avatar virtual reality playable protagonist seemed exhaustive, restrictive, and unsustainable. Sort of like playing an emotional first-person shooter. You put on the eye goggles, you hit play, and then you respawn. You can embody this curated certainty kind of guy inside of this residual haunting, inside of a lucid dream called a song, and you become this begoggled avatar in their virtual reality bodysuit, all built beneath the spell of words. You're undead. And it wasn't for me. So I started to make my own. And mine they're more like role-playing games. And all of that infrastructure, that puddle of mud, was expressing sophisticated grievance about the level at which she hated me. With rules of play. So inviting the reader-listener to the game through the established assumptions of their relationship to the narrator and protagonist. So all that scaffolding that Puddle of Mud is using to enhance my shopping experience, maybe, that's in there. You can do stuff with that. So I try to have fun with it. And I want to play. I don't want to just press play. I want to be played. I don't want to have play press. For instance, what if each verse is a parallax look at topic or intention? Verse 1, 2, and 3 is written as view A, B, and C. Or what if the reader, listener, becoming begoggled protagonist is a frustrated spectator forced into goggles upon goggles within goggles in pitch black? Well, there's only one place on the planet left where it's okay to turn off your phone. And the functional rationalization for being there is to slip into a fictitious zone. And I'm living in a very public world that I was born feeling naked to the bone. And I'll be crying like a baby with the previews on because I'm going to the movies alone. Because I'm down in the pitch black, baby. And I could be crying and you'd never know because we're both down in the pitch black. And I could be right beside you and you'd never know. Because this economic language to talk about God makes me want to cram my head in a hole. But I can travel from the darkest spot and get perennial by reeling a roll. Because it's a neo-noir bummer wave world that died in Avatar instead of a soul. But I'll be living beyond the dead and gone because I'm going to the movies alone. I'm going down into pitch black, baby, and I could be crying, and you'd never know. And I'd say, you'd never know. And the audience would say, shut up. And I would say, boo-hoo, while the movie said, and the big lizard became his friend. But I was like, wah, wah, wah. Because I'm running out of reasons to trick myself into never ever building a home. I'm on a mysteryless and endless quest, a moratorium made of bone. You know, I used to be a charming vagabond, but now I'm fading into a hobo. And I'll be living like I'm already dead and gone and always going to the movies alone. It's like I'm screaming underwater alone in the pitch black, baby. I could be trying and you'd never know because we're down in the pitch black and I'm really right beside you, but you'd never know. So, who or what can be this you that I'm talking to, this non-playable character, this NPC in our emotional first-person shooter? And what is, if one, I assume there is one, what is the power relationship between this you and Matt's poetic eye? Can it be a person? Can it be a topic? Can it be trauma, memory, projection, introjection, the shape-shifting subject of a narrator negotiating with their own unreliability in endless, ever-widening circles, where you're like a bushel babe that's hiding all my shine of mediocre psychobabble, mutating my mind, telling me to dismiss and reject the world outside. So then how in this relationship and turn a waste of time because I don't know what I want to do. I'm always debating about you in my head. I run it around and around and around in a circle. I run it around. And you're in my limbic system. It keeps me so uptight, preventing me from connecting with those in my life whose affection I could use to help myself unwind. It makes me feel or fear all my relationships are just a waste of time. Because I'm stuck in a real bad way, but I can turn it around. I'm scaring my family because you're putting me down and I'm stuck in a circle, but I can turn it around. I got spun in a circle, but I can turn it around if I can stop spinning long enough to turn it around. So show me your sacred hearts, the human kindness kind. And show me more than 3D printers drawing skulls and knives. And show me more than kleptocratic demagogue control. And show me that you ain't a lizard, show you've got a soul. Because I don't know what I'm going to do. And I guess there ain't no really erasing you from my head. I run it around and around and around. Now, what if this beguiled reader-listener embodies a villain? What if it's a hero without stories? And this villain, they got affirmations that are so just disappointing, not even evil, just disappointing, that it neuters said villain's big badness. Like only humiliation could pierce something without shame. Like a tiny god who's getting high all the time off anything that I can find. Like religion, or crazy drugs, or violence, or medicine, for corn syrup instead of blood. So what I need is what I want. And slam fast food and smoke earbuds until I'm numb to everyone. Like a tiny god, a tiny god. I'm a tiny god. I'm just coming back to get up front because I feel risen. Say hallelujah. Now say hallelujah. Now say hallelujah. No, it's getting rough. I'm running through and out of stuff. Burger King James, the soul obsessed. Dog eat dog, it's tit to tit. And when I die, my consciousness will then be burned onto a disc that's uploaded to heaven's chat room, which is infinite and on the moon for tiny gods. And that's what I got from Puddle of Mud. An interest in the what and whys that constitute any definition of self-interest for a protagonist to throw at me. Every rational actor is told to maximize personal utility. But what if what you want isn't on the endless choice buffet? What if you prefer your qualitatives unquantified? What if you're not motivated by only like? I heard you told my buddy about my world of pain, about the trash cold chaos drilling my life. But who's to say it gets to take when I'll do more than talk about it and make a handful of things that I'll do more than like? Do you think radical love is falling fully into the fall from outside of radical love? Do you think radical love is falling fully into the fall? Or do you think it's dumb to not practice materialist, transcendental detachment, so when you're robbed, you feel no loss at all. My friend in Kansas City holds a book that likes to talk about it, and to correct girl, anime eyes. Would you want to own the world, he asked, the more you learn about it? Or earn a handful of things that you do more than like? And do you think that radical love has fallen fully into the fall from outside of radical love? Do you think radical love has fallen fully into the fall, or do you think it's dumb? It's smarter to be numb and just avoid the fall into love and out of like, into love and out of like, into love. You don't get to start with stuff and then tell me to live without it. And then Frankenstein religion to the robot ride. But you can rent a whipping boy and never act or talk about it when there is no love, just only life. Do you think radical love is falling fully into the fall from outside of radical love? Do you think radical love has fallen fully from our time? Or do you think it's dumb, it's smarter to be numb? Or do you think it's dumb that it is smarter to be numb into love and out of light? And into a mishmash of times, places, and sensations, jamming and disrupting a tyrannical present, an encouraging providence, with brand new popes and kings, owning all the things that I need to survive. If I am alive, it will be made and fully paid, but bought instead of breaking bread. Danton's waking me, texting on TV about a place that's real, but close enough to feel. It's in my brain, a rolling pain of churning dread inside my head. God's pumping me all full of lead. Oh no. Here comes Robespierre. But I'm Thank you. You were picking up on the Danton. You came in on the Robespierre. But I'm too tired to care. He came to kill the king, so kiss his freedom ring, like only he can truly see the way to be for really free. To live beyond your means, but beneath your being. To stay hungry to believe in messianic thieves, who feel that free post-human beings can eat and breathe belief in bread, when God is pumping me all full of lead. Is what's unloading on me is filling up my soul, but I'm not dead, just full of lead. Is what's reloading Jeremiah's broken yoke, but I'm not dead, Jeremiah, just full of lead, Jeremiah. Oh yes, pirates, popes, and kings repeat everything in Century 21, flux and opinion, before my eyes and in disguise, but it's a prize to see as me until I'm dead. Well, God is pumping me all full of lead. And then more with these sensations. To put a cartoonishly violent but benevolent Rube Goldberg machine into action, in contrast and beside Puddle of Mud's begoggled prosumer mechanism of narrational and protagonist relation. To take this video game, virtual reality style of undead, that respawn, and then respawn that into the realm of elastic cartoonery and contorted imaginations of the bandaged. Because the cartoon character doesn't die, all right? He just gets bandaged. You see that he's hurt, and then he just keeps on going. It's not like, you have to see the pain in the cartoon, right? It's just as immortal as when you die in a video game, but you see the bandage in the cartoon. The unfraggable cartoon character, acting as dance steps would symbolically accumulate beyond the equals to sign of the puddle of mud, little crude math equation with big feeling plus big feeling equals fucking meaning. And we'll say that whatever that is, it adds up to a thing called Death Driver. And this is the last one. It's called Death Driver. Maybe it's about a cartoon character. It's on the next thing that I'm finishing right now and working on. deaf driver. I'm looking over the ledge of the edge of the edge of the edge, like the Catman dude. I can fall, I can land, I can stand on my hands on command like the Catman dude. And I can fall harder than you. From fear but not afraid, I'm running towards the blade because I'm harder than you. Because I was born running towards the blade. It's in my eyes, this blade. Because I'm harder than you, I'm falling hard on the blade. I'm scared, I'm tired, I'm hanging in there on a wire like the Catman dude. I can gnash my teeth because they fall out in my sleep like the Catman dude. And I can still fall harder than you. From fear but not afraid, I'm running towards the blade because I'm harder than you. Because I was born running towards the blade. It's in my eyes, this blade, because I'm harder than you. And I'm falling hard on that blade. Death drive. I'm alive. Worldwide suicide. I survived like the Catman dude. Because success is all about how hard you can fall like the Catman dude. And I can fall harder than you. All of you. I can fall harder than you. It's in my eyes. All of you. The blade. And I can fall harder than you. All of you. It's in my eyes. The blade, blade, blade. I'm a beeline through the tree line. Catman dude. 2 things and then I'm done. 3. Thank you, Matt. That email was an excellent email. It was an excellent email. I got a smash and grab on my van. I replaced the window. I really just dove in on this. The van's fixed. Everything's fine. But it's a great opportunity, and I'm glad I had a time crunch just to be able to roll with it. For some reason this says, I only write fiction from the perspective of a tortured cartoon character, and I mean 100% of it in song. And then the final thing is, I wonder if anyone here has a American Spirit brand cigarette that I can smoke.
I have one from France from August. Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.